We bought 8 of the UK's most popular whole milk brands, including Cravendale, Arla, and Müller, and put every single one through the same rigorous test. We poured each straight into a clear glass to check the color and thickness, brought each one to the boil in a saucepan to see if it would actually form a skin, and tasted every single one blind with no cartons in sight. We also worked out the true price per litre, because a pretty carton on the shelf is no guarantee of what's actually inside it. What we found genuinely worried us. One of these brands was so thin and pale it looked closer to water with a splash of color than an actual pint of whole milk. Let's count down from the worst to the very best, so you know exactly which carton to leave behind next time you're at the till. 8th place, Asda whole milk. Starting with the biggest letdown of the entire test. The moment we poured it into the glass, the problem was obvious. The liquid was thin and almost see-through, running down the sides of the glass in seconds without leaving a single trace of that natural creaminess you'd expect from a proper whole milk. It behaved exactly like water with a faint white tint, not a dairy product at all. When we brought it to the boil, things got worse. It rose far too quickly in the pan and never formed any kind of skin on the surface, a clear, undeniable sign that the fat content simply wasn't there. Tasted blind, it was watery and completely hollow, leaving nothing behind on the palate except a faint metallic aftertaste. And the price didn't do it any favors either. Pound for pound, it wasn't meaningfully cheaper than milk that tasted 3 times richer. You're not saving anything here. You're just pouring a thinner pint for almost the same money. 7th place, Sainsbury's whole milk. This one split opinion early on. Visually it actually looked a touch more promising than the 8th place carton, with slightly better body in the glass. But the moment it hit the pan, the real issue surfaced. As it came to the boil, it gave off an oddly sweet, almost artificial smell, nothing like the clean scent of fresh milk. Tasted warm, that same artificial sweetness came through and sat heavily on the tongue, masking whatever natural flavor should have been there. Checked under bright light, tiny flecks of fat were visible floating on the surface instead of blending in smoothly. On price, it landed right in the middle of the pack, not the cheapest, but nowhere near good enough to justify that strange aftertaste. 6th place, Müller whole milk. A recognizable name that genuinely let us down, mostly because of how much trust the brand carries with shoppers. We expected a strong result here and instead found something painfully average. In the glass, it wasn't watery like the bottom two, but it never delivered that velvety thickness a good whole milk should have. On the boil, it managed only a thin, timid skin that broke apart the second we touched it with a spoon. Tasted blind, the flavor was flat and forgettable, with almost no presence on the palate at all. Worse still was the price. On the day we bought it, Müller was one of the most expensive cartons in the entire lineup. You're paying premium money for a milk that disappears the moment you add it to your tea. 5th place, Yo Valley organic whole milk. This result surprised us for being more mid-table than we expected, given the reputation the organic label carries. Poured into the glass, the texture was correct, not thin, but not especially rich either. The color was solid, without that translucent look from the bottom of our list. On the boil, it behaved predictably, rising at a reasonable pace and forming a decent enough skin, confirming there was some real fat content in there. Tasted blind, the flavor was pleasant but a little flat, missing the fresh, distinctive edge that separates an ordinary milk from an exceptional one. Its strongest point was the price. For an organic product, it landed more affordably than we expected, giving it a genuinely fair value for money. A safe everyday choice, but not enough complexity to compete with the milks further up this list. 4th place, Tesco whole milk. Firmly into the brand's worth actually buying now. This one surprised our panel with one of the best textures in the entire test. From the moment we opened the carton, the visual density stood out immediately. In the glass, the milk clung to the sides in a proper white veil, a strong sign of real fat naturally preserved. On the boil, the performance was excellent, forming a thick, consistent skin within minutes. Tasted blind, the flavor was rounded and smooth, with a gentle natural sweetness and nothing artificial about it. The only thing keeping it out of the top 3 was price consistency. It occasionally sits slightly higher than direct competitors delivering a near-identical result, which matters when you're restocking every single week. 3rd place, Arla whole milk. Taking the final spot on the podium, Arla backed up its reputation with a genuinely solid, dependable performance. From the first pour, the creaminess was obvious, with no visible separation and a rich, even white color throughout. On the boil, the milk handled the heat impressively well, forming a thick and satisfying skin that held together properly, the kind that instantly brings back memories of proper home cooking. Tasted blind, it delivered a well-balanced, slightly sweet flavor that filled the palate pleasantly. The only thing holding it back from the very top was price. It's noticeably dearer per litre than the brand that beat it, and that gap adds up fast for a household getting through several pints a week. Second place, Cravendale Whole Milk. This was the brand that impressed us most across nearly every category we tested. Poured into the jug, the rich viscosity and flawless white color hinted straight away at a genuinely superior product. Brought to the boil, the performance was faultless, rising in a controlled way and revealing an authentic, generous fat content. Tasted blind, it scored top marks from our panel, combining freshness and creaminess in near-perfect harmony. What really secured this position was the price-to-quality ratio, sitting at a surprisingly reasonable point per litre for something that tastes this good, genuinely premium quality without a genuinely premium price tag. First place, Marks & Spencer Whole Milk. The clear winner of the entire test. What we found in this carton was, without exaggeration, the real character of proper whole milk, done exactly right. The texture was by far the most velvety and full-bodied of the whole lineup. The fresh smell, the flawless behavior on the boil, and the rich, fat-forward flavor made us genuinely forget we were drinking something from a supermarket shelf. Yes, it costs a little more than most of the others on this list, but the quality you're bringing home justifies every extra penny. This is exactly what a superior, well-rounded pint of whole milk should taste like. So if you've been reaching for the same carton out of pure habit, it might be time to actually look at what's inside it. Let us know in the comments which milk you buy every week, and if this test opened your eyes, stick around, because next week we're doing exactly the same thing with 8 of the UK's best-selling extra virgin olive oils, and what one of these bottles was hiding genuinely surprised us.